As you can see by the shirt, I'm definitely pro LA Knight. And I was hoping we would see him tonight on SmackDown, and they delivered. Perfect. Not only did they deliver, they actually had him in a prominent role on the show. So let's recap tonight's show, shall we? First off, start the show hot with the Grayson Waller effect, and we have Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio in the ring as his guest. Obviously, he's gonna be stirring up the pot. He starts talking about Rey Mysterio taking Santos Escobar's title opportunity. He actually won it, but now he's trying to stir the pot and create some tension between the LWO members. After that, here comes Austin Theory, pissed off, mind you, because he just lost his US title, and I can definitely understand why. So he comes to the ring and he's demanding a rematch. He's demanding to get his title back. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was not expecting what happened next to happen. Here comes LA Knight. Now, this was like, I was like, okay, now business, how JR would say, business has picked up. So now, after he cuts a stellar promo against Austin Theory, he proposes a match. LA Knight versus Austin Theory for a #1 contendership. And before this even happened, before this match even took place, I had a strong feeling, because remember, on Monday Night Raw, Miz said he may show up to SmackDown. He wasn't lying. The Miz shows up right before the match starts, and he goes ringside for commentary. He's shooting all the shots in the world at LA Knight. Pretty much everything he was saying before in his last promo, just more now because LA Knight was busy in the ring and he couldn't rebut. In the match, the one thing that I took away is this man, LA Knight, is just a superstar that is just going to make so much money for WWE. All of his moves, the crowd is eating it up. The stumps in the corner. Yeah. Like he's every single stump they are finding, they're just falling in love with it. Every single stump, they're saying his catchphrase. And then it's just like, it's amazing how over this man got just organically. There was no machine behind him. It was literally just charisma and the little bit of opportunity they gave him on screen. But then, of course, The Miz gets involved. And by doing so, he ends up costing LA Knight the match. The most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, according to Simon Miller. Shout out to Simon. The surprise roll-up. And he gets the 1, 2, 3. LA Knight is not the #1 contender for the US Championship. But I did say this. Before the match started, or while the match was going on, I was talking to the stream. And I said, if LA Knight loses this match, it's perfectly fine because he still has his feud with Miz. He needs to beat the Miz, get that momentum, and then once they figure out the situation with the US Championship, then he can be in line for that. So LA Knight lost. I'm absolutely fine. The most important part is they're putting him in prime positions. They're putting him around the US title, and that's all we need for now. So for all of y'all that are saying that he needs the title right now, just be patient. Then we have the Edge video package celebrating his 25 years in the WWE. This is something that you just gonna have to go back and look at because it was a very moving video package, and Edge has definitely had so many memorable moments. From me personally, the TLC match, one of the most influential tag teams from the Attitude Era. Obviously, it's the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. And the concerto is a thing because of Edge and Christian, which people still use it to this day. Then you have your Ruthless Aggression era Edge, where he was just a menace. He had his feud with Matt Hardy and Lita. He had his feud with John Cena. Like the man has had an amazing career, and it's crazy to think that it was 25 years. And to me, he has one of the most impactful entries into the Royal Rumble. I'm trying to think of, is there another one that was as impactful as that one? Y'all let me know in the comments if you can think of one that was better than when Edge returned after 9 years back into the WWE. Then after we got the video package, we ended up having Bianca Belair and Charlotte versus Io Sky and Bayley. And the match overall was kind of cool. Still, I don't understand how Bianca and Charlotte are on teams and they're supposed to be somewhat beefing, at least, I think. There was some nice spots in there. Bianca hurt her leg yet again. She hurt the same leg that she hurt from SummerSlam, and then they started preying on her. And I'm gonna be honest, there was one move that Io did where she did like a Hurricane Rana into like the crossface, and I'm not gonna lie, the momentum was so wild. Charlotte went face first into the mat, and then her nose started bleeding. And even before I saw that she was bleeding, I was like, that right there was a crazy move. And Io is just showing why she's champion right now. Io is amazing in the ring. Still confused about Damage Control and her dissension with Bayley, and also where's Shotzi? I don't know. All in all, Bianca got the pin over Bayley, so now we have to see where this goes. Of course, she wasn't going to get the pin over the champ, but I am confused where we go from here. Then the Street Profits came out, and they didn't come out in their usual gear. They came out, it was almost like a Tiffany color. I don't know. It was kind of the same, but kind of different. It wasn't sports themed like usual. Then we come back, and Bianca gets jumped by Damage Control. So they put her leg in the middle of the chair, and then they do pretty much a concerto to her leg, the injured leg from SummerSlam. So that makes me wonder, is she taking some time off? Was she getting written off television, or what exactly is going on? Is this a way for her to repackage herself and come back as somebody else? So then the OC comes out, and we have the OC. Obviously, they're not gonna win over the Street Profits. They're really trying to build the Street Profits up right now with Bobby Lashley, so they're not taking any losses right now. And after a pretty decent match, they end up getting the win. Then they do their spot where they go to the top of the ramp, and out comes the almighty Bobby Lashley, who was clean. That suit was absolutely clean, by the way. So then what happens is we go backstage, and Paul Heyman is sitting there tapping his phone. Obviously, we know that this is a setup for something dealing with the Bloodline and a potential call from Roman Reigns, right? After that, we ended up getting another video package of the Bloodline from what happened last week. And one of my mods says, you know what's going to be crazy? Is they're going to do another video package of the same thing on Monday Night Raw next week. If they do that, I promise you, this is only going to make it worse when it comes to people and Bloodline fatigue. We get it. We understand. We know the state of the Bloodline. We don't have to see it for 10 minutes, and they're not even showing up. We didn't see Jimmy J, Roman, Solo. We didn't see any of them tonight, and they still showed this much of it. I really think WWE should let it die down. Let it chill. And then that's going to pique people's interest once it starts back up. Like right now, LA Knight is the hottest thing on Friday Night SmackDown right now. He should be the priority. I'm fine with them going to Paul Heyman and talking to Kayla Braxton in the back, but you really didn't need the video package, in my opinion. So then Paul Heyman gets pretty much badgered by Kayla, and then he goes on his gaslighting trip saying, you know, I heard about your cousins, I heard about your mom, I heard about rumors about your dad, but you want to talk about rumors of my tribal chief's cousin. Why don't we talk about your family? And then in the midst of that, he ended up getting a call, and he didn't want to reveal his sources, but they said, this is where it got me. He was talking about Jimmy Uso was going to be live on SmackDown, and then you just hear the crowd going crazy, which I don't see how they didn't see this setup. And then he goes next week on SmackDown, and then you just hear the crowd just awing, and I thought that was perfect. The fact that they even fell for that, y'all should have saw that coming. Like, so then he does that, and he just says he's not going to reveal his sources, and he walks away from Kayla. And then after that, I think we had about like 30 minutes left. We saw Sheamus make his way out, so you know that means it's time for the main event. And the ovation that Edge got after you heard "You Think You Know Me," the best homecoming, the absolute best homecoming. And it's a true homecoming because he goes, he kisses his family, he goes and greets a lot of people. They got "Thank You Edge" shirts. And also he's dressed in the colors of the Maple Leafs. So he got his white and blue gear. You see people in Maple Leafs jerseys. According to my guy Anthony, on WWE.com, they just released a special edition Intercontinental Championship in the colors of the Maple Leafs, which is actually pretty cool. You should go check it out. So we have our final match of the night. We have our main event with Sheamus and Edge. And I'll be honest, I really do appreciate this. If this was Edge's last match, I would have been fine with it. I think we probably should have done something on the pay-per-view, but I know there was a lot of rumors that he was going to retire, but I would have been fine with it. But he has a banger of a match, honestly. Like, it was a lot of hard hitting, and I kept talking to the chat, but then I was looking over at the screen, and every single time, all I saw was Edge on offense. And I'm like, is Sheamus going to get any offense in? So eventually he does a white noise off the top rope. He gets some offense in, but he gets a lot of brogue kicks in too, and of course, kick out. So Edge is kicking out of everything. And according to WWE logic, you know they do not like to let people win in their hometown. But he actually got the win. And it was a very heartwarming segment at the end because he ended up embracing and hugging Sheamus as it went off air. And the coolest part about this is I remember watching the Celtic Warrior workouts when Edge was working out with Sheamus at his house. And he had all of his stuff on the wall. And this was before he came back to WWE. And it's amazing the fact that they said, last week, that they had some hidden footage or some secret footage or whatever of a bump that he took from riding a bike. And that was what let him know that, hey, I can still do this. I can still go in the ring. And he used that to get him motivated for one of the greatest comebacks in WWE from an injury. So the fact that his opponent was Sheamus and they let them kind of peel the curtain back a little bit, I thought that was absolutely heartwarming and fire, in my opinion. So overall, tonight's show, I give it a strong 7 out of 10. Not too much that happened, but the main thing for me, LA Knight is on the right path. And shout out to Edge for celebrating his 25 years in the WWE, which is crazy to think. He's been wrestling longer than some of you guys have been alive. So comment down below. Let me know, how did you like tonight's SmackDown? And what feuds are you looking forward to on SmackDown? I personally am looking forward to the Miz and LA Knight feud. I don't know if it's going to be on Raw or SmackDown, but I definitely can't wait to see what they do with that. So appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to share the video if you think somebody else would like a quick synopsis of tonight's show. And until next time, I will see you back in the ring.